Excited to get into game week right now. The transition for our guys is what you work for. You get 12 opportunities a year, and our guys have worked hard. It'd be interesting. I got to see. Excited to get out there to practice, see how our guys handle it. Not the guys that have played a lot of football. A lot of the younger guys. Last week was that transitional week where you're kind of transitioning between camp and game week, but now it is. Now it's going on the field. There's guys on scout team learning how to give looks of other team. There's our guys learning how to take our offense, defense, and special teams and apply it to a different opponent. And excited to see us get out there and go play and let our guys go do what they enjoy to do. Getting back out there at that stadium, it's going into year 8 for me as the head coach. I'm fired up. I'm excited. I can't wait to go run out of that tunnel. It'll be a nice warm day. Got a chance to compete with the last time we played South Alabama, which we played them down there in Mobile, and I know it was a huge game. The last time we went down there, and it was probably similar weather conditions. I think that's the hottest I've ever been during a game, was down there on that turf that day. It was a hot day, and we expect another one on Saturday. And playing an excellent football team. I think they have probably some questions that we have with, a new quarterback starting. They got veteran receiver back. They got a veteran tailback back. So, a lot of similarities between the two teams. I know we've had some defensive injuries. I think they've suffered a couple of defensive injuries during camp. So, but I know Joey does a great job with that team and how he's built that program up, and should be an exciting game on Saturday.
You mentioned last week that you wanted to wait till today and start putting a game plan to see how the quarterbacks reacted. Are you ready to name a number one, or you feel like you want to wait this week?
Yeah, I was hoping to be ready. I see really Nick Williams playing quarterback for us. Oh, did I? Oh, Nick Williams, yeah. You like that one? I got you on that one there, right there. Everybody's like, "Oh, aye!" No, I'm waiting for the clarity for us, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. We're going to play more than one quarterback, and we'll probably play more than one in the first quarter. So I'm not trying to. This isn't a deceptive or any of that stuff out of us right now. I just I was hoping to have complete clarity that there is a defined number one, and I don't think there is yet. So I don't want to say this guy's going to be the guy, and Series 2 another guy comes in and plays better and mess it up that way. So I'd plan on us playing more than one in the first quarter.
I guess what changed that you thought that you would have one and then now we don't have one?
Nothing. I hope that it would be really sorted out for me. So, but the we got guys that are competitive guys that are continuing to compete, continue to improve, and especially, and you got younger guys. So you see guys do some great things. You see them make some mistakes, and in that, I just want to see, especially in a situation where, I want to see how guys are going to handle the next 2 to 3 days, implementing a game plan now for this week, and see if one guy handles it much better than another guy, or if somebody really struggles with it, then I got to be ready to who's going to be the best, give us the best opportunity to win on Saturday.
Coach, was Dak one of those guys that the light would come on, he'd play better sometimes on Saturday than he practiced? And if you've coached guys like that, do you almost like you leave that door open when you're coaching these young guys to give them the opportunity to see if the light bulb comes on Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know that Dak was that way. I mean, Dak came to work every day and gave you everything he had every single day. So I think now I know, but he was also a guy that's not going to shy away from the spotlight. I think everybody sees that in him now, and how he's performing now is he's going to handle the spotlight very, very easily. It is with these guys. I know both guys. Damian had to start in a tough situation as a freshman. Fitz last year played a bunch. I think was it the Troy? It was the Troy game. We came up. I woke up and they said, "Hey, Dak can't play today. He's been up throwing up all night long." So it was. Even though he did, we got him a start and he played, I think, the first 2 series and then got him out with an illness. But I think both those guys have been thrown into tough situations and both performed well in the situations they got thrown into. So I do. I want to give the guys opportunity and see how they're going to perform on Saturday.
We're still trying to find a quarterback. How does that affect practice? Will they continue to split reps, or how will that go?
Well, part of it is you got to get more than one guy ready. I think that the fact in a lot with our guys, I think both guys have, gotten, when you're doing it, 1s and 2s, getting reps, and rotating between the groups. I think there's a comfort level with both guys repping with the 1s. So I don't know that it's going to be that big an issue.
Last year you kind of dealt with 4 running backs. Now this year you have 6. How do you kind of split the reps? What's your game plan for those guys?
Well, it's going to be who deserve reps for us on the field. And when you have some depth at that position, you have 2 seniors. I know we got 2 redshirt freshmen, and they've done a decent job. But, when you look at guys like Holloway and Shumpert are going to get the majority of the reps for us. If run out of reps, there's special teams reps. It's to me right now. I think a lot of the young guys are really going to figure out how critical special teams are. Where if you're not in the rotation on special teams, a home game this week where we dress a lot is one thing, but when we start packing it up on the road and traveling 70 guys, if you're not in that special teams rotation, we can't take we're not going to take 6 tailbacks to a game. So I might take 4 tailbacks to a game and some special teams players. So we got to see who's the guys that are standing out on special teams.
You said you were here. This is your 8th football season. Do you have to almost say it again to yourself that you've been here 8 years now?
No, you know what? I'm just as excited today as I was year 1. I'm probably more experienced or more understanding of what I'm getting myself into with this season than I was 8 years ago, and more prepared for everything that's going to get thrown on my plate this week. But I'm just as excited as I was 8 years ago. And I think you think about it in that time frame and where we were 8 years ago to where we are today, just in every aspect of the program. Players, all the former players that come back, and you get to spend time with them. And you realize, hey, we've had a lot of different guys come through the program since I've been the head coach and have played for us, gone on to be very successful. And 8 years ago today, we were, I think, in the lobby of the Bryan Building for the Monday press conference. Is that why you weren't? Who was here? Yeah, a lot of people in this room weren't here 8 years ago today, so it was different. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to get back out there and get the season kicked off.
Talked about the veteran running back for South Alabama, Xavier Johnson. What kind of stands out when you watch him on film?
Well, I think, he's got some size, speed, and power. I think, he's a well-versed all-around back. He's dangerous in the return game, in the open field. So I think, when you have a guy with his versatility, let's see, what is the yeah, there he is. When you're looking at a guy that's 5'11", 180, you know what he is. He's got the size to be a power guy. That he's not maybe a big bruiser, but you watch him in the return game and how he can play in the open field. That combination of guy that he is an all-around player and can hurt you in multi-facets. And for that, it means, he's someone you got to stop, and you can't just picture one way to stop him. You're not just going to stop him between the tackles. You got to stop him in multiple facets of the game.
Coach, kind of going back to Dak, your thoughts when you saw that he'll be the opening day starter for the Cowboys, what that meant to you?
I'm guarantee you, and I know, like any coach, and like any player, I'm sure, not how he wants to become the opening day starter, but knowing a guy like Dak, I know he's going to be 100% prepared for that moment. And I think the great thing in a guy like Dak is he's going to handle the moment well. He's been in a lot of pressure situations, played in a lot of pressure situations. He's going to prepare the right way, but I think he would, knowing a Dak, he would have prepared the same way if it was the second play of the game and he went in, and that he's going to give everything he has to that team and help the team be in a position to win. And most when I see what he does, I'm just proud of him and proud of what he's accomplished. And just to even have the opportunity to play for the Dallas Cowboys is an honor.
You said both were getting reps. Two
Yeah.
quarterbacks. Who were the two that were getting reps?
Yeah, Nick Williams. Yeah. I think it really fits in Damian. Are the two is going to get the majority of reps. Nick Tiana's still gonna get reps for us at this point because I think he has a bright future. I think in the short term, the other two guys just being a little bit more older, having more reps, gone through. A Fitz graduating early and having an extra spring even on top of it to get ready, just put themselves in a position being a little bit more ready to play game one right now.
With Nick James's incident over the weekend, how does that affect his eligibility and his status for the game on Saturday?
Well, his eligibility, I don't know if it does, but whether or not, we'll make that decision. Anytime there's a criminal component or a criminal aspect to it, we're going to let obviously investigate everything fully, look at the legal system, then make a decision. And not just with him, and I know you guys know this with us, any suspensions that we'll announce them before the game. We'll either be Friday or Saturday morning that we'll announce any suspensions for any reason for this game coming up here.
For him, not necessarily being a repeat offender, but having arrests in the past, does that affect, and not necessarily with him, but any player you'll deal with their past history?
Well, everything. I think every situation, when you deal with discipline, every situation is very unique. And you want to look at it, and you look at where they are, what happened, what the situation is, what they've done in the past, how have they reacted to what they've done in the past, and how it's going to affect them in their futures, and what I mean by their futures is them helping to develop to become grown good men. That's ultimately the responsibility is that we develop young men to become champions in life. Everyone's going to make everyone makes mistakes in life. Our job is to make sure that they learn from them, and then if they're not, what's the best way to educate them and to do those things. So every discipline factor, it's going to, I'd love to say I don't think there's not a rule book when it comes to discipline that this happened, this equals this. I think you look at every situation and the whole situation, and you got to make a best decision for that individual regarding their situations they're in.
Coach, obviously you had some injuries at corner. How has that personnel group responded in the absence of the seniors?
Well, I think, and as guys do often in our program, there's an opportunity there, and you need to take advantage of your opportunity. And, guys work hard in our program. I think, we like to play a lot of players, and by rotating guys, by getting reps, if you look at our fall camp schedule, most of the way through training camp, the ones and the threes get the same amount of reps. So everyone has the same opportunity to improve, to develop, and to grow. Now, over the last 2 weeks, that's limited. But when the time of those injuries had occurred, everybody at the corner position had the same reps. So they were just given a different opportunity and make sure they get ready to take advantage of it.
Dan, with the defense as a whole, I know with the new coaches, how's it progressed during camp and going into game week? How do you feel there?
I think pretty good. I think during camp it's progressed well. I want to see how our guys now adapt into the game week transition, and in theory, game week should be easier because the package is cut down. Instead of having an entire menu of what you can do, right? I mean, you're going more to like the blue plate special. There's only a couple selections you're going to use in this game. Put it in Mississippi terms right there, right? It's kind of cut down. The menu's cut down for the week. So now can these guys, but with it being cut down now, these guys have to adapt. They have to now instead of just worrying about the defense, they're applying the defense to the team that we're playing. So how are they going to adapt to that? Even though the package is going to be smaller, how are they applying it to a team that's going to run different formations, motions, and different things than they've seen in training camp?
I know Holloway's the main guy at running back, but who do you see emerging as that complement to his, as Greg Knox said, kind of a change-up guy?
Well, I think, Shumpert is a guy because he's got a lot of experience. And then Eris Williams is kind of a mix in between the two, where Holloway is going to be a real speed guy on the edge. Shumpert can pound it up inside. Eris Williams is kind of between it. He's got a little bit of the dynamic speed on the edge, maybe not as fast as Holloway. He's going to be physical between the tackles, maybe not as thick as Shumpert, but he's kind of in that mix in between those two right now for us, and I think he's done a good job in training camp. So, I think when he comes in, he brings even kind of a third picture of diversity to the backs.
And then with the defense, there was so much versatility there. I know the depth chart doesn't mean much, but how do you go about, Gary Green on the inside or at Viper or Calvin inside or at the end? How did you go about placing those guys there?
I mean, a lot of it's going to be game plan, putting guys in, and a lot is who's ready to go play. And you look, it's not just the one, it's the depth, and and as the season goes, you look. I missed Will Coleman. He's going to be out for the game. Did I mention that? I haven't mentioned him. Okay, he'll be out this week too. Is he on here? Well, see, and y'all didn't even ask what happened to Will Coleman, right? I forgot about that. Will be out for about 2 weeks. It was something happened early in camp. That's probably why I didn't even think about it. It happened, I think, the second day of practice. Just a low back issue that he's been dealing with. And so he'll be out this week. So I think, part of it is the versatility of being able to move guys so that as guys as guys aren't there at a position, we might have to change around. You move some of those chess pieces around to put different guys at different positions instead of being locked into, this guy's, here's our first, second, and third string at this position, and we could have some crossover. But I also think it gives us flexibility within the defensive scheme to change size and athleticism at different positions out there on the field, depending on who we're playing, because we'll see all different types of schemes that we're going to have to play this year, and that'll determine who's on the field playing for us.
With this being the first game, how much is still of an unknown is South Alabama, and how much can you look at last year's game film maybe to get a game plan together?
There's a lot of unknown. They got a lot of new players playing. They've lost some guys, new defensive staff. So when you look at that, you're kind of looking at some of their players, but is the scheme's going to be different, I'm sure. And even if the scheme's similar, the personality's going to be a little bit different. So, I think one of always the big keys in game one, a lot of times in game one, you're playing yourself. You're playing game one, go out there, execute clean at a high level, try not to make many mistakes. Here it is, a lot of new guys playing. You're at practice, you make a mistake, hey, it was practice. You're in a game and you make a mistake, it's very, very costly. So how guys are going to react to success, adversity, all of those different things. So I think, that's how you play yourself a lot in game one, because both teams are very undefined right now that are going into this. And both teams are going to find their personality of what this team is. This is first game for both teams, even no matter how many guys you have returning or lost, it's always a new team and a new year, and this is both our first game. So be interested to see how we respond, how they respond to being in the first game situation.
Do you have an update on Dante Jones?
Yeah, I mean, he's back out there practicing a little bit. He's still limited, coming off the shoulder surgery, but he's back on the field practicing for us.